Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Bravery Studios. Good morning, Bravehearts, and good morning, Garfield, New Jersey. This is live from Bravery Studios. We got our first and the best guest ever right now. We got Jason Enrique in the building. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, brother, man? Thank you. It's an honor to be the first right now on live at Bravery Studios.
Yeah, man. We also got Scooter in here with us.
Yeah, Scooter, what's going on, bro?
Nothing much, just chilling,
Yeah, he looks a little nervous over there, man. This is the first time. Is this the first time that you're on a podcast here? You were on his Friday Super, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how you feeling, Jay?
I'm feeling really good, man. Everything's going good in my life personally. Have no complaints. Definitely wearing a smile on my face these days. Feeling pretty accomplished, pretty positive. I got my podcast going on. I took a little bit of a hiatus, but now it's coming back officially today after we get done here. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I took a little bit of a break. I just felt like I needed that mental break for a little bit, but now I'm really excited. I'm amped, and I just can't wait to get off and running.
You know what's funny? A lot of podcasters take August off. Yeah, that's like common.
I could notice that too.
It's very common that August is a lot of podcasters day off. That's why August is my slowest month in the studio.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like maybe we want to enjoy the rest of the summer as much as we can.
It's the edge of the season.
Yeah, something like that. Or I don't know about anybody else, but I know for me personally, I just needed to give myself a break because not just from the podcast, but everything else in my personal life was just getting too cluttered, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
It was also like being overwhelming, and I just needed to give myself a break. I don't want to keep on doing a podcast where like I'm feeling like I'm burnt out or I don't know what I'm doing. I needed to hit the refresh button for a little bit.
Totally get that, bro. And let me tell you, I think that when you start feeling the burnout, you should immediately react to it. You should immediately make a change so that it doesn't hit you harder later down the road. It's kind of like when you feel a pain in your body and you don't go to the doctor and it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, I got an interesting story about that. It's also a lesson in it.
Well, go for it, bro. That's what we're here for.
So when I was 20, I had this really annoying pain in the side of my abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it wasn't painful. It was just bothering me. And I was like, should I just like take a laxative or whatever? It was just really bothering me. And I just couldn't get rid of it. And then it would come and go. And then it just wouldn't go away. And then one night I felt it started to actually really hurt, not just bother me, but really hurt. And then afterwards I figured, you know what, screw it. I don't want to do this. I kind of want to fight it. I feel I can get over it on its own. But luckily I went to the hospital because what it turns out is that my appendix ruptured.
Oof.
So as soon as they found out what it was, they were like, Mr. Jason, we need to get to an emergency surgery right away, and da-da-da. And that was the last thing that I was expecting. I just thought that maybe they could tell me what was wrong. I did not expect to go under the knife that same day.
So imagine. Most people I know that's happened to, they pass out. So you didn't even pass out.
No, and the crazy thing is that they said, the doctor said that I must have a threshold for pain, a really strong one, because usually when that happens, it hurts them like they're pain, like they can't.
Who were you in your past life, brother?
You know what it is? I think it's the Taurus in me. I'm stubborn, man.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I was in pain, but I just didn't want to believe it. Like, yo, I got this. I can fight this.
Wow. Who were you in your past life, bro? This man's Achilles over here. Only his ankles is his only weakness over here.
Yeah, ended up being in recovery for about a month and a half and everything. But that was a real eye opener for me in a lot of ways. Not just from like, if you feel like something is wrong, take care of it. Don't try to push it off. Don't fight it too much. And because I feel like a big reason why that happened to me was because I was living an unhealthy lifestyle and it made me change my habits.
How old were you?
I was 20.
Okay, so this is you just starting adulthood.
I wasn't even old enough to drink yet.
Yeah.
Even though I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people drinking before that, but not Scooter. He's a good kid. When you turn 21, Scooter?
April.
For what?
17.
Taurus or? No, that's April 20th. Okay, yeah, I'm a Taurus, so you're just a couple of days away.
Yeah, guys. For those that don't know,
you're not as stubborn as me.
For those that don't know, Scooter is the employee here. He's a Padawan. He's under my wing, showing him the ropes and everything. And he's a good kid. He gets a little nervous sometimes doing stuff. And I think that when you get nervous, sometimes you fear making a mistake so much that it makes you make a mistake. Yeah. So, but he's good. He's doing good. He's been here over a year now, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, man, Cindy's gonna be sitting in this chair, and I'm gonna be sitting on the beach That's the plan.
That's the plan. Well, which beach though? Here or somewhere else?
Probably Japan somewhere.
Nice.
Somewhere under. I don't even know what they're called. The Japanese fans.
Oh yeah,
Being fanned by those weaponry. They're like weapons, and they're like it's multiple purpose.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
So how's the break been for you then? Have you been taking advantage of anything else in that time?
Well, you know what's crazy is that even though I've been taking a break from the podcast, I haven't been able to stay away from the mic. I've actually been joining other people's platforms, that have podcasts, or they're just starting out, or they just became fans of mine that they wanted to network, and then eventually it got to the point where I was featured on their show. I was featured on Ronald West Jr.'s TV podcast, the Say Word podcast. Shout out to Ronald West. Shout out to Gisela. I'm working also pretty soon with the Arena podcast.
Yes, the Arena. Hoodie Frankliano.
Yeah. And, also shout out to My Minx, so the My Minx show. We're doing something next week as well. But yeah, no, I've just been networking. Even though I haven't been recording personally on my own shit, I just been networking with other people and hopping on other people's projects. And also, I was actually with Mina Mendoza. I was on the Mina Mendoza show. That was during the break.
That was during the break as well. I think it was right before though. That was because she took her break in August, and then you took it in August also. So you were her last guest before the break, I think.
It was me and then somebody else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're right. You're right as well.
And this is what she was doing on Wednesdays.
Copy. Now she's moving to Thursdays. She's 7 to 8 on Thursdays.
That's a little promo plug.
Yeah, nice little plug there. But how you call it, brother? Yeah, you have been like in beast mode when it comes to networking and everything like that, bro. I'm really proud of you, man.
Thank you, man. And it's something that I didn't think that I had it in me, because before I got into the podcast game, I was this really shy person that I was afraid to approach people, and just trying to be like my own business kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of social anxiety, and to be honest with you, a little bit of that still happens to me in everyday life. I just think that's a part of my personality.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the project, when it comes to actual podcasting, I turn into a different beast. I don't know what it is. And, an example of it was last night. Last night I went to Joe Beningo's All the Pain podcast. Shout out to Joe Beningo and everybody at Hackensack Brewing Company. I've been to every single live podcast that he's done. And it took me a while to actually get to know him and know his family and everybody else that's involved. And, I actually had him on my show here at Bravery Studios.
I remember.
That was a great episode.
I'm going to tell you a funny story when you're done.
Yeah. And, so last night when I was there at Hackensack Brewing Company, shout out to Mike Jones and everybody else out there, he was in the middle of recording the podcast. He sees me in the crowd. He didn't have to do this, but he asked me to come up, tell everybody who you are, have a seat. Like, I actually sat next to him, sharing the mic once again.
Hey.
And I was letting everybody know in the crowd who I was and what I got coming next. And it only lasted for a couple of seconds, but that was definitely the highlight of my life.
Hey.
A little Freudian slip.
Hey, whoa. Hey.
Yeah, but no, it was the highlight of my night. He didn't have to do that, but I appreciated that he did. And ever since then, I've been able to network even people from last night. And, I gained like several new followers just off of last night.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome for him to pick you out the crowd. You left a big resonating impact on him.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Funny story, right? So I had the are you thirsty, by the way? You want anything to drink?
I'm good, right?
You want a water?
Yeah.
You sure? You want to grab him a water just in case? Yeah. Grab a few waters for us over here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scooter. What I was gonna say. Okay, so I had the city of Garfield building officials come into the building.
Okay.
We had a little trouble one day when we had like an event that went on too late, and it put us in the crosshairs of the city or whatnot. When they came to inspect the building, I put on the video of you and Joe.
Oh, wow.
To win brownie points with Garfield, because as soon as the fire guy came in here, I forget his name. I have his card in here somewhere. Shout out to Garfield. I love this town. He saw it on the TV and he was like, "Oh, it's Joe." I was like, "Yeah, that happened here, brother."
Yeah, because Joe Beningo was actually from.
He's a hero in this town.
Yeah, and he told me that they still have Beningo tires, just a couple of blocks.
Bingo. So they sat in awe for like 10 minutes in front of that TV watching your show. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
that was definitely one of the highlights of me doing the podcast. But what's crazy is that the best part of that episode specifically for me is that my father, God rest his soul, was a big fan of his as well. And just the fact that he shouted him out, and I still get to listen to it every now and then on that episode, that warms my heart more than anything. Because like,
that's awesome.
I don't know how people feel about spirituality or anything like that, but me personally, I feel like my father was looking up above and being proud of his son to be able to accomplish that.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Thanks, Scooter. That's what's up. So speaking of highlights, man, what else? What else are the other highlights of doing the show so far? I mean, you've been doing it. You said 2 years now, right?
No, actually, it's about to be a year, September 30th. And here's the funny thing. So I don't know if I ever told you this, but
Mhm.
I finally published my first couple episodes on September 30th. That's the anniversary of the podcast.
Okay.
After I published them, right before I go to bed, I just happen to go on Twitter and I realized that it's National Podcast Day. I didn't know that. So I took that as a sign, like, okay, well, maybe this is supposed to happen after all, you know. So
the plans are aligning for you, bro.
yeah, so
the plans are aligning.
So everybody that knows out there, the anniversary of first class, second place is National Podcast.
That's awesome. That's Mondo awesome. Yeah. But yeah, man, what else? What are the other highlights of doing this? You've been doing it a year now, so yeah, well, what stands out the most to you? Give me like 5 of them.
All right, I can give you a couple, definitely.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me, though, I would have to say is that it makes me feel like I finally have purpose. And what I mean by that is I've dealt with my own mental health issues. You know, I've dealt with, you know, as I mentioned before, social anxiety. And, you know, not to get too dark here, but there was moments where it was really dark in my life where I had like really bad loneliness and, you know, thoughts of suicide. But, and that a lot of that was because I felt like my life was being stagnant. Like I wasn't doing anything extravagant, for lack of a better term, with my life. I just figured that I was just a cog in the machine. I'm a worker bee. I'm just going to go to work, do my job, come home, eat my dinner, watch TV, and then repeat the next day. You know, I'm not meant to do anything extravagant because for the longest time as a kid, I always wanted to do something. I just didn't know what it was as far as creativity is concerned.
Gotcha.
So then afterwards, I realized that I wanted to, I love that term. Sometimes you got to look back to see ahead.
Hey.
So what I did in that was I tried to figure like, what did I love doing back then? And when I back in 2005, when I was a delivery driver, I used to listen to the radio a lot. And when I was listening to the radio a lot, I found myself emulating all these on-air personalities. I was listening to the on-air personalities more than the music. I was listening to sports radio, Howard Stern, everybody on Hot 97 and Power 105.1. Just for the on-air personalities. They were the ones that I gravitated towards. And then next thing you know, subconsciously, I mean, I'm looking in the mirror sometimes and I'm kind of like, you know, practicing and emulating on my skill and my voice. Like, I don't even know that I'm doing it. It just happened naturally. And then fast forward to now, we, you know, everybody's doing the podcast thing, you know, it's become the new wave. And I don't know what everybody else's reason is for doing it. I just know that for me, I had a passion for it before even podcasting was a thing. And it just needed me to go back in time to really see that if I can do this and if I want to do it. And I did. And I couldn't be more happy about it. So the real crux of what we're getting to right now is it made me feel like I'm actually doing something that people can be proud of me for. Like, and if I can make myself proud and make other people proud, then that feels like I have purpose in life after all.
Bingo. Give me 5 particular moments. I know Joe's number 1.
Right.
Give me 4 more then.
Another one would be when I had my friend Selena Sophia on my show.
Okay.
And that was a big moment for me because this is a person that I think that she has an amazing story. I feel like one day a movie can be made out of her life because it was a lot of tragedy that happened. But as far as us personally, it was an episode where we actually was able to put to bed all the animosity that we had between us back then. It was one of those situations where we haven't spoken to each other in a long time. And we were able to, you know, show growth and maturity and realize that what happened in the past happened and we're both grown from it and we moved on now and we're still good friends. I mean, even though she lives in a different state,
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that I was able to, you know, get over something that was bothering me for a long time, and being able to share that with my audience was able to humanize not only her, but also show a human side of myself that, listen, I have my own show and I'm, you know, I try to do the best job that I can as a host, but I'm human at the end of the day. I have feelings just like everybody else. And it was also a sign of growth for me that I was able to move on from it, be mature and, you know, really show growth. So that was one that's one of a very special episode for me personally.
Is that the conversation we had when we were at the Art Factory of someone that you ran into there that you hadn't spoken to in a couple of years, or is that someone else?
I think that might be the same person.
Yeah, right. Because you when you crossed paths with this person, you had mentioned that something you had a falling out in the past or something like that.
Yeah, like about 10 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
We had a falling out, but then we were able to make up and make amends on my episode.
That's what's up, man.
That was pretty cool.
That's what's up. You know? That's what's up.
Other than that, I just love the fact that in some weird way, I feel like it's actually made me more wiser in the sense that finding out that I had this confidence that I didn't realize that I had. Because ever since I started the show, it seemed like especially when I'm in networking mode,
Yeah.
I turn into a different animal. I turn into a different beast. I'm just like networking like crazy and meeting all these people that I didn't get to, see or speak to. I think you caught a glimpse of it earlier just now when we just, you just finished recording a podcast, and any other day when I'm not in networking mode, I probably would have just like, hey, you guys did a great job, congratulations. But I was in networking mode, and I just became like a beast. And
Yeah.
I just networked. I don't know. The salesman in me just came out.
Yeah.
And also like another good thing about this is that I always felt like I was often the black sheep of the family. Like I love my family and they love me back and everything, but sometimes you know how it is. Your own family and friends are always not going to be that supportive of your endeavors or whatever you do. And with that being said, meeting people like you, meeting people like Mina Mendoza, meeting people like Mind Mix, meeting people like Joe Fucarino, I look at you guys now as an extension of my family, kind of like the family I never had. Because even though I had brothers and sisters and I had my mother and my father, there was always like a disconnect, a discord at times. And, family is always like not always as close as you appear to be, even though you have all the love and respect for them. But I just feel like this is like an extension of family, like the family I never had. And I love the fact that you guys have been so supportive of me in my endeavor. Sometimes I doubt myself a little bit. That's part of my personality every now and then. But you guys being proud of me and letting me know that with not just your words, but your actions made me feel like I'm doing something right. And it's done wonders for my mental health. That's what
Yeah, man. So give me two more. Well, where are we at? Three more? Highlight moments. What else stands out to you? Who else did you speak to on your podcast? What other moment, what other place that you went to stands out in your mind as like, this is one of the golden episodes, like this moment right here? You would put it in a highlight reel if you're making a highlight reel.
Definitely the episode where I got to meet Joe Fucarino and Zane from Therapy Without a Degree, because meeting those guys, I've been working with them ever since, and we actually became close, not just on a podcast, a creative level, but we genuinely enjoy each other's company, and we feel like we all have a common goal. And I look at Joe as kind of like a brother of mine as well, And that episode that we did together when I first met them ever for the first time is one of my absolute favorites, because these are guys that don't know me from a can of paint. I don't know them all that well, but just 1 hour of recording that episode, I feel like we were able to connect on a deeper level. And that's one of the coolest things sometimes, that you could be friends with somebody for like 30 years, and then you can meet somebody within the first 15 minutes and know that they're going to be a big significant part of your life.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. So you could talk to someone for like 5 minutes and like this somebody is going to be part of my life soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another highlight, I would have to say, I'll say this. Not just on being on my show personally.
Oh yeah, you being guest on other people's shows too could be a highlight.
That's a big thing too for me as well, because that lets me know that people are a fan of what I do, and then they feel confident enough for me to be on their platform. And me chopping it up with people, whether it's behind the mic or just in person, and that we're all creatives, content, and whatever podcast, whatever. I get it. I get a real high from that. I don't know what it is, but I really enjoy it. Like even right now, like I'm elated right now, the way how we're just, connecting and talking and on the mic. And, you and me have had some deep conversations, even when the microphones and the cameras are off.
I agree. And actually, I think you, before we get off topic, I still want to get two more highlights from you, but you had mentioned that you wanted to talk something about one of the topics I had on Marv in the morning, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to get into it. Yeah. I don't want to switch topics just yet, because I want to hear what's those final two highlights, but we're going to get into that too. But yeah, what's your favorite podcast that you've been on? Which one is your favorite so far? And not to upset anybody that where's my camera? Of the shows you've been on, they all been amazing. I've actually found and discovered some great people through you. Just seeing whose shows you've been on. The guys in Staten Island, or was that Long Island? The
the DNA,
where the Colt 45 phrase comes from. Yeah, I watch them weekly now.
Yeah, you know what? That I would say that's actually a highlight of
the journey.
My journey as well, because this is me going the extra mile and literally going the extra mile, because what I mean by that is I had Energetic, shout out to Energetic.
Yeah.
I went to his place all the way on Long Island, because I felt like, the interview that he did with Mind Mix and listening to his music, I felt like doing this virtually was not going to do this interview justice. I felt like I really needed to have him in person. So I made the effort to go all the way out to Long Island, And he had such a blast doing it. I had such a blast doing it that they felt confident enough for me to hop on their show. And again, I went out to Long Island. Everybody treated me really good. I was having a good time. Definitely one of my favorite highlights, not just on, my platform, but on theirs. I still watch it every now and then just for a good.
They're hilarious, both of them. That dynamic duel.
Yeah, I've even, and even you bringing up the Colt.
Colt 45, that's your catchphrase now, brother. You need that on a shirt.
From them or something.
You need an endorsement. You need a shirt. You need a campaign.
Yeah.
You're the new, what's his name? Billy D. Williams, bro. You're the new one. That's before Scooter's time over there, right? You don't know what we're talking about.
You might know from Star Wars. You look like a Star Wars guy.
Yeah, he loves Star Wars.
Yes, so Billy D. Williams is?
Yeah.
There you go.
He used to like promote malt liquor, right?
Yeah, I know.
He was like a spokesperson for that, yeah. Was it before Star Wars? I think it was after Star Wars. Star Wars put him on, and then he started doing the Colt 45 promotion.
Right. Yeah. He was supposed to be Harvey Dent.
He was supposed to, yeah. But yeah, man, so that's your favorite one? That's the favorite guest spot you've done so far?
Honestly, and that's been one of them, but honestly, I would have to say that my favorite guest spot has been the Mina Mendoza show.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
Yeah, because maybe she had a little bit of an advantage because it was a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just like an hour and change.
Yeah.
But I legitimately felt that in a different world, maybe me and her could have been like co-hosts or something.
Yeah, I could see that.
Actually, and then I think that actually segue into the topic that we got into a little bit on your in the chat. Remember when I was saying that I'm still looking for my future co-host.
That's right. Okay. I think we talked about the highlights of your career. Not really that we've covered it all, because I'm sure you're going to have more highlights as we keep going on with this journey.
I don't think
you're never going to run out. The book ain't closed on that one yet. But talk to me. Why do you feel like you need a co-host? Even though I do agree with you and Mina would knock it out the park as co-host.
Well, because honestly, I wanted to have a co-host from the very beginning because I feel like I just love camaraderie. I love being able to bounce topics and conversations and idea amongst others. And to be honest with you, one of the things that stopped me from doing the podcast at the time that I wanted to, where it took me a while to get started, was because I was actually looking for that perfect co-host. Mm-hmm. And it was a little bit more of like either people said that they were down, but they couldn't commit. They were telling me with their words, but not their actions.
Yeah.
There was no commitment there. And I can't afford to wait, to wait around for you guys, or else it's never going to happen. I can't be dependent on you. And then there's other people who I know that they could show the commitment, but I feel like they don't you
don't have the chemistry?
No, not the chemistry. It's like I feel like I gotta babysit them because they may say something or do something that could get us in trouble. They have some really volatile friends.
Yeah, something that doesn't align with your brand.
I'm not trying to get canceled or anything like that.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, like, I didn't necessarily have a format for the show, but I feel like part of the reason why I love doing interviews is because I feel like I'm actually having a different co-host on the show every now and then, because I'm not just out there promoting what they're doing, whether if they have an album out or a movie or they have a stand-up special or they have a podcast, whatever. I try to bring the human side of them every time I talk to them so that people can gravitate to who they are as opposed to just what they're promoting or what they're doing.
I think that.
Yeah. So I kind of look at every time I have a guest on my show, they're also kind of like my co-host for a day.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
So that's, it wasn't intended to be that way, but I think it just happened naturally enough.
That might be it right there, though, bro. Because honestly, I don't know.
It could.
I don't foresee you needing a co-host because you do a very stellar job of like moderating what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And it might just make it flow weirder if you have two people kind of entering moderating the conversation there.
But I feel like part of the reason why having a co-host would be ideal is because, and you mentioned this on Marv in the Morning before, is that sometimes you'll have people that they're scheduled to come through, but then they're late or they cancel. True. And then afterwards, like, you're stuck on Front Street, like. And I'm the mindset that, the show must go on. So
yeah.
I don't like rescheduling.
I do agree with you there, brother.
So that's why I feel like at least if I had a co-host or two, at least there's continuity. Because even if we have somebody coming on, all right, they're not going to be able to show up, but it's still going to be the two.
You and the co-host. Exactly. I do agree with you there. It's really hard. I don't know if you faced this. You probably have, because your show is mainly about the interviews. It's about the guests. Mm-hmm. every week, every episode. Right. So yeah, it's really hard when you're by yourself and then the guest flakes. But you have the advantage of that you can record whenever.
Yeah.
So you kind of can get away with, all right, well, you'll reschedule according to the guest's times or whatever availability.
And
With the studio, you can't really do that because that board, there's 20 podcasts here, you know what I mean? So you can't really do that. But yeah, having a co-host would save you on that in that part, because then the guests don't show up. You just have a chop it up with the co-host.
But I've had to make adjustments, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you how. I've actually recorded enough episodes that if something like that were to happen, I have something that backs it up.
I figured as much. I figured you have backups. You have some in the holster, and that's a very smart thing to do.
Even though I've been on hiatus, I have a bunch of episodes that I haven't been able to finish just yet, but they're ready in the chamber. They're ready to come out.
That's what's up, brother. That's what's up. All right. So let's
and also just one more,
go for it.
Advice for anybody that wants to start a podcast in the future. Before you do your first one, before you publish it, make sure that you have at least 2 or 3 more so that people can get the flow of it, and you also have a little bit of backup in the arsenal.
Exactly.
I remember the first time I uploaded, I did 2 episodes, and I had a couple extra ones more, but at least I had 2 so that people can get into the flow of it.
Copy. I dig it, brother. Yeah, that's definitely a smart thing to do, especially if you have to miss a week of recording. Then you already got some in the host ready for it.
Yep.
So tell me, brother, what was the topic you wanted to cover with as far as regarding to what we spoke about Marv in the morning?
Well, one of them was actually the whole co-host thing. We kind of covered.
Yeah.
The topic that
you said, I think it was the niche part.
The niche part.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I started especially in my earlier episodes of the podcast, sometimes you don't know if I'm having an interview show or if I'm doing a sports show, because I would do a whole bunch of different array of topics. And you had made a really good point on Marv in the morning, where if you do an interview show kind of like what I do, then you constantly have to network. You have to constantly network. You have to, be out there, do a lot more work, and just constantly meet people for different arrays of things as far as interview goes. If you're doing an interview show, as opposed to if you're just doing a podcast about video games or movies or what have you.
Yeah.
So, and you're absolutely right. I've actually had to network and also hop on other people's platforms.
Yeah.
But I think it actually works for me, and I think that maybe that is my niche, because I love going on other people's shows as much as I love them coming on mine.
Yeah.
So maybe that is my own niche in its own right.
I guess to an extent. I mean, niche is definitely a group of community, right?
Yeah.
So a niche would really be like me targeting, if I wanted to target Hispanic males in their 30s with my podcast. And to be honest, even naturally, I am doing that without even trying.
Right.
Because once you show your face on camera, people that look like you are going to gravitate towards you. So that's really your niche right there, Jay. Hispanic, or even more like, I don't know, you probably could pass for like Italian too. Anybody that kind of looks at you and can kind of say, hey, he looks like me, I'm going to support him. Or he's talking about movies and I'm into that, so I'm going to support him, I'm going to watch. So that's really your niche right there.
Yeah, and also even not from a podcast standpoint, I don't want to be just boxed into one specific thing. I mean,
that's everyone's common complaint about it.
One day, and it can even go as just like what I feel like listening to. Like maybe one day I'll feel like listening to a comedy podcast or a sports one, or just an interview one.
How do you find those podcasts that you like to listen to?
Honestly, sometimes I just fall into them. Like there's this one podcast that I just started listening to called Why Are You Laughing? And the reason was because I went on YouTube and I wanted to relive that video of like Joe Rogan versus Carlos Mencia.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a classic.
So they actually had an episode kind of discussing the history of what happened between those two, and I enjoyed that episode so much that I decided to look more of their catalog. And they bring up a whole bunch of topics of the history of comedy. What happened? Like, is Jerry Seinfeld really funny, or remembering Patrice O'Neill? And I gravitated towards it, and I thought that they have a really good chemistry with each other, and they're very funny. And so it's just little things like that. Sometimes you just find them like just by chance,
Yeah. But I also think that you wouldn't have been able to find those podcasts if those podcasts weren't with a niche, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So like what you're doing is the way to do it when you don't really have a niche. It's through collaboration and a homogenization of audiences. Meaning you have a group of people who watch your show already. When you work with Joe has a group of people that watch his show already. your community's homogenized, right? So that's how you've been growing, and that is a great way to grow too. I mean, networking is the best way to grow.
Yeah.
You know, or your network is your net worth, right? I think I heard that today on these was it their podcast, Stress Company? Shout out to Stress Company. But yeah, and that's the way you do it when you don't really have a solid niche yet. But I do think that you have one already without even really realizing it too. Like I said, I think you have one, and it's not necessarily that you're in a box because you have a niche, but it just comes naturally to some people because not that you are the typical Hispanic male in their 30s, but because you have a lot of things in common with typical Hispanic males in their 30s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you go with Zane and you guys talk about movies, you're kind of covering something that Hispanic males in their 30s would want to hear.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of doing it naturally.
Yeah, and actually, I have something to feel, to piggyback that off. So,
Yeah.
I love sports. I'm a New York Jets fan, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but but what I love about it, and also with this network thing, and shout out to Tyson at Let's Talk Jets Radio. He, I got in touch with him at a game one time, and then we exchanged information on social media. Now he does straight New York Jets content, but I also know that he's a big advocate of mental health because that's just something that he's passionate about outside of football. So I reached out to him, and when he hopped on my episode, and I was honored enough for him to do it because at first he was kind of hesitant, like he didn't know, and it's not his fault, he doesn't know me from a can of paint. I'm very brand new to the games, but he was willing to take a chance on me.
Yeah.
So on that episode, which actually I guess you could add as the fifth one, is that for the first half we were talking about the upcoming season of the New York Jets and what we're expecting, and honestly we're not expecting much.
Yeah.
But the second one was, the second half was talking about mental health, because I know that this is a guy that's very passionate about mental health awareness and breaking the stigma. And unfortunately, he knows too many people in his life personally that have taken their own life. And he's very passionate about, spreading the message out and, getting, for people getting help. So that was really the meat and potatoes, taking your term here, of the episode.
You said meat and potatoes and my stomach growled. Can you grab my phone and make us a little story for Instagram over here? Because that would have been a good clip.
Yeah. So, like when we finished the conversation, and you could even hear it at the end of this episode, he complimented me on my talent and how I was able to carry the conversation. And that was really big for me because I was a big fan of his already. And for him to compliment me and have, his stamp of approval meant the world to me. So fast forward to now, I've actually been on his episodes a couple of times. I was on one episode where we were talking just about Jets and my fandom. And then we've actually done 2 episodes now about breaking the stigma of mental health. And so he's actually been able to branch out to a different audience on the same platform, to those that want to listen to it. And it wouldn't be football related. It would just be about, spreading the awareness out of people and, with mental health issues.
And I'm glad you brought that up, brother, because this is what I was going to tell you about the whole I don't want to put myself in a box thing complaint that a lot of podcasters use. Just because you're in a box doesn't mean you can't speak about things outside that box. You know what I mean? Like the Breakfast Club would interview movie stars sometimes, and they're in a box. They're in the biggest box in the planet. They're in the box of hip hop, right? But they still would interview. Michael Rappaport was on there. I think they had Denzel on episode. Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther.
Right.
You know what I mean? The thing is, Jets fans have mental health issues too, or deal with mental health issues. Let's not say they all have mental health issues.
I don't know, man. We got PTSD.
I know you would agree with it, but let's say deal with it as well. So like, if I have a Jets podcast and let's say one day I'm talking about male pattern balding, right? It's still in my niche. Like I can talk about that because guess what? My fans are still going to be able to relate to it.
That's true.
Just because you put yourself in a box, and I hate the term, that really do hate it, because it makes it sound like you're doing something wrong or you're limiting yourself. But just because you put yourself in a specific niche does not mean you have to only speak about that niche forever.
I agree.
Forever. Like Kanye exploded on the niche of hip hop. Yeah. But right now, Kanye tomorrow could drop a rock album and people would still buy it by the dozens. They've already bought his gospel albums. They bought his experimental albums. They'll buy anything that Kanye puts his name on. Because he built his niche. He built his following already now that he is the niche now. Kanye West is himself, could have a podcast about him, and that podcast would be successful because he has so many followers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just it. You just have to grow a community to the point where now you can expand and cover more bases because you've already built your community. You built like-minded people around your brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're doing great, Jay. I think you are naturally doing it without even really realizing, or maybe you do. But you are kicking ass out there, bro. Like without a doubt. But you're not in a box. You don't have to feel like, oh, I have to limit what I'm talking about. You're doing it. You're knocking it out, bro.
And sometimes I need to hear stuff like that to reassure me that I am doing the right thing.
Yeah, you're killing it, brother. Networking has been your greatest strength. You and Joe are both networking powerhouses, bro. I say that about Joe every time somebody brings him up. One day I'm gonna see Joe on TV shaking hands with the king of Tibet.
Yeah.
Just because he networks so well. Yo, what's up, guys? I'm in Tibet now. You know how Joe does his Instagram? Yeah, I'm over here in China. Yo, I swear to God, we're gonna see Joe in Tibet. Like, yeah, we live. We're in the Himalayan mountains. We talking about relationships in China. I swear to God, it's coming. But yeah, you guys are powerhouses when it comes to networking, man. Like, really, really can't compliment you guys enough.
Yeah, but don't sell yourself short either, man. I see you out here doing your thing, bro.
Oh yeah. I've
been in this game for quite a while, bro, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass here, but you've been doing this for quite a while, and just being able to be in your company and also you believing in my talent and wanting to work with me, that says a lot as well. It makes me feel good to know.
Well, I don't feel like we connected much the first time you recorded here. I feel like it was an in and out process. It's once I saw you, I was like, wait, this guy is connecting with the network that I know, and he's talking to all these people, and he's going to these places of people that I know, and I'm like,
yeah,
like, this is dope. He's really doing the Journeyman podcast, and that's what really attracted me to you when I just thought of you like the Journeyman. Like, and then I made me want to bring you more cool places. Like, I wanted to bring you to Prototype. I still got some places I want you to go. You know what I mean?
Prototype, Matt, everybody.
Even before we hit record, I was like, we got to go back to the other building and I'll show you inside all those studios. How much are you recording over there? It's just one story. You're going to give away the whole podcast. But yeah, I want to take you back over to the Clifton and show you inside every room because I know everybody in that building.
I would love that.
Yeah, we got to do that. But I envy that you are the Journeyman, and I hope you never change that. You just told me you're starting video. I hope you don't lock yourself in one place with that video camera.
No.
Yeah. Keep on the move, bro.
Yeah, no, and the way that I look at it, man, is like me growing my podcast and my brand is just an extension of how I'm growing within as a person. That's the way that I look at it.
Yeah, man.
I have no problems, being 100% myself. I have no problems with sharing who I am. This is just who I am. I think one of the greatest things about me accomplishing in this life is just being honest with myself and being able to be honest with everybody else in return.
Amen, bro. Powerful statements, bro. So what's next? What do you got on the agenda?
So right now, like I said, I was on hiatus, but the podcast is officially coming back now. Doing a little bit of upgrades. At first, it was just an audio only vehicle. And now I'm trying to elevate myself with video. So I'm trying to work the ins and outs of YouTube and so on and so forth. I just got TikTok reluctantly.
Hey,
reluctantly because I feel like that old man get off my lawn time.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is just what you have to do. You have to put yourself out there by any means necessary. And again, I don't want to put myself in a box. I don't want to,
I hate the term, but go ahead, say it.
What I mean,
yeah, I know.
But
you don't want to limit yourself. Let's say that. You don't want to limit yourself. Yes.
So still doing the social media thing, still networking, and I can't really look into a crystal ball and see what's going to happen, but all I know is that I'm looking forward and I'm excited for what's coming next, even though I don't know what it is.
Video is gonna give you a new audience. Funny thing, and this is the last thing we could close on this, but In the early 1900s, when everybody was taking trains and the locomotive industry was making billions when millions were billions, or when billions were millions, one or the other. I don't know which one it is. But yeah, they were making hand over fist, tons of money, billions, right? Henry Ford went to the locomotive companies and said, "Hey guys, I got this idea for a car. I have the patent. You guys invest in this, and this will be your industry or whatever." And the train guys said no. Like, oh, no, we're train people. We're not car people. We don't want to invest in that. Our business is trains, bro. These imbeciles, and I'm gonna say it just like that. These idiots. Bro, you're not in the train business, brother. You are in the transportation business. Yep. And who's going to be the better transportation between trains and cars? Cars. You can't sell a train to somebody. Bro, how could you be so short-sighted, right? So when people say to me, bro, podcasting, you can't do video. That goes against the principles of podcasting. Podcasting started as audio. It has to stay audio forever. Bro, you are not in the podcasting business. Whoever's watching this, you are not in the podcasting. You are in the entertainment business. Yes. Bro, and podcasting is the one form of entertainment that you have two battlefields. You can't do two battlefields with video games. You have to sit and watch it. You can't do that with movies. You can't do that with books. You can't do that with music. You have to listen to it. You can put the music video on, but I guess music video can kind of get away with that. They kind of have two battlefields too, a little bit. Podcasting is the only medium, the only form of entertainment where you have two battlefields. You have two ways for people to absorb your content. Yep. For you to just say to yourself, it goes against the philosophy of podcasting to do video. Is as short-sighted as those guys who those train company guys that didn't want to invest in cars. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I know you weren't high and mighty. I'm only doing audio because audio is how podcasts is supposed to be absorbed. But that's definitely an episode I've wanted to do for a long time. That's coming soon, probably next week or whatever. So that was like a little preview of it. I kind of gave away the whole episode, but you just put me in that spirit to talk about it. But Jay, thanks for coming today, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to chop it up about before we close this out?
I just want to reiterate everything that was said here.
Go for it.
I just to everybody out there that is a fan of the First Class Second Place podcast, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of me on this journey, and thank you for continuing on being on this journey. I've been able to feel like I've had purpose for for quite a while. I can't imagine that in just under a year, I've been able to accomplish so much that I didn't think that I can do in just 1 year. So that makes me look forward to what's going on and what's going to happen in the future. I'm excited for it. I got my fire back. I got my passion.
Hey.
And it's all because of y'all. I can't do this without y'all. And I love y'all.
Bingo. Scooter, anything you want to say to the viewers, listeners before we go?
Nope.
Jay.
Studios.
Yeah.
Studios, and look forward for Saturdays with Scooter.
Hey, there you go. You know who this is, Marv, the producer, the boss over here at Bravery Studios. Shout out to Garfield, New Jersey. Shout out to everywhere on this planet.
Shout out to all Jersey.
Shout out all of Jersey. Shout out all of Jersey.
I love fucking Jersey.
Shout out to Jersey in general. We love this place. But yeah, this has been the first live from Bravery Studios with Jason Enrique. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace. I definitely have to work on some cool words to say in the outro. I don't know what to say at the end.
It'll come.
I got the meat and potatoes. I don't have the salad.